Welcome back, everybody. It's January 31st. This is going to conclude the video series from today. I really appreciate your attention. We're going to go over some of the auto trading capability here. I'm going to flip us over to a chart book we haven't yet seen since we did this presentation today. It basically has everything stripped off except for the MPDs. The reason I did that is just to keep it super, super simple with respect to how this looks while we have an auto trading system going. All right, now let me state, like I stated before, I do not think that this is going to stand on its own two legs in an auto traded environment in the current state. You could probably fine tune it. Again, there's probably people who could do much more, analytics than I. I believe there's too much subjectivity with this method of trading to automate it completely. So let that be said. However, the function of automating the trades is really, really easy, especially once we've already created those formulas that we've talked about, because the process is almost identical. Now, these are all simulated trades. Most of them were done late last night, all night long, and early this morning. I did let it run a little bit last night. I was goofing around a little bit with myself this morning manually. But again, these are all simulated trades. All right. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and zoom in on, let's just look at the NASDAQ. I'm going to maximize the chart here. And again, basically what we've done is we've effectively removed everything off the screen except for the the MPDs, and then you'll see dots that represent trades. All right, there's only, looks like there's only one here, although I did a lot of other trading in the simulator in the NASDAQ today, so that's not really reflective of what actually happened if we had let the system run, but here's basically what we did. So if you right click and go to studies, there's an actual study that's called trading system based on alert condition. Okay, it's in the list just like anything else. Trading system based on alert condition right here. And basically the way that this works is we already have our sell signal and buy signal coded, right? ID 30 and ID 31. So if we go to ID 30 and we look at the alert or the subgraphs tab, subgraph number one being true is means the system is valid, means it's ready to go. There's a trade setup. So what we're basically looking for is ID 30.sg1 to be true. Now, how do you tell Sierra to actually send a trade? Well, if we're using the sell signal, I added the study called Trading System Based on Alert Condition. And in the Settings and Inputs tab, you have some decisions to make here. All right, the first, is the thing enabled? Okay, what is the order action? All right, a sell entry. This defaults to buy entry, so you make sure you put this to sell entry if it's a sell signal. Do you want this to only evaluate on the close of the bar? Mine says yes right now. Typically, I would have this set to no. This is the kind of system where you probably want to let it run and get the fill right when it occurs. If you set it to evaluate on bar close only, there's a good chance you miss it if it's a quick move, right? So evaluate on bar close only, I would leave this usually at no. Okay. Now, send orders to trade service. This is a big one. Okay. If this says yes, and under the trade menu, you have trade simulation mode on, unchecked, and you are logged into your live account, you will get trades. So make sure you're prepared to deal with that. If you only want to practice, make sure you log into simulated live mode. Don't log into your live account and toggle things on or off inside the charting program from sim to real, from sim to real. Log out completely, go into simulated live mode, and make that way, even if you send orders to Transact, they're done in simulated live mode. That's okay. They're fake. All right. But if you log into your live account and you have this send orders to trade service set to yes, and you've got trade simulation mode on unchecked in the trade menu, you will get real fills. So be careful. Maximum position allowed, I just have this set to 10. Number of trades per day, I have set to 100, long and short. I don't really change anything else here except for if you want these to only operate during a certain range, you can say allow trading only during time range, yes, and you can specify a time. I didn't do that. And then you could also set it to only do one trade per bar. So I set that one to yes because I guess in theory you could have that set to no if you were to get into a trade and then the conditions would be met for an exit and you get out and then you get in again in the same bar. That could happen, but I was thinking maybe just one trade per bar. Not doing reversals, not doing multiple entries in the same direction, and at least in this example, but those capabilities, as you can see, exist. Subgraphs. This is a sell signal, so I hid the buy, the buy option. Okay, basically a point. I changed that to hidden. I put the sell signal to point on high, which is this little dot you see right here. Okay, point on high, and I made it really big with the VATE. In the alert condition, we have a whoppingly complicated signal. ID30.SG1, which is our sell signal with the color bar, is greater than 0. All right, Sierra is a computer. It likes zeros and ones. Okay, if it's greater than 0, that means it's true. So if you want the signal, this is super simple. You don't have to copy the code in here or anything like that. You could just say, when that condition is true, just give me the trade. So ID30.SG1, that's our sell signal. If that is greater than 0, we're on. All right, that's our auto sell. Then what I did was I added the attached trade window to the chart. The way to do that is to go to trade, select attach trade window to chart, and then you're going to get this thing on the left or the right side. Okay, mine's on the right. The way to put it on the right side, because it defaults to the left, is if you right click and go to chart settings, click on advanced settings right here, and then there's an option that says attach trade window to right side, and you can check that box, and the window will show up over here instead of over here. Okay. What I chose to do for this exit strategy was a little bit different for each market. I really didn't think too much about it. You will probably want to think more about it. In the targets tab, all I have is a stop. I had a 100 tick stop, which is a really wide stop in the NASDAQ, but that's what I wanted to do. And a trail, what is called a triggered trail stop. So the triggered trail stop means that once we make 25 ticks, we're going to trail by 25 ticks. It's not that complicated. This is probably the most practical trailing stop. I typically don't want to use a trailing stop that would trigger immediately. So you want to have some kind of initial stop in ticks, and then a trail offset, which is once you reach this trigger, how far behind do we trail? And we're going to trail by 25. So in theory, if we make 25 ticks, then the stop should go back to break even, right? 25 ticks behind that, worst case scenario, we get stopped out plus slippage. All right, but you know, I didn't build this as a scalping strategy. It's going to be very tempting to put a super tight stop loss on this and have the market, come down a couple ticks and take it and then do it again and do it again and do it again. That really would defeat the whole purpose of the idea. The purpose of the idea was to let this thing fire periodically and only when the conditions are good. And that's why I prefer to do it manually, and I think most people would probably prefer to do it manually, but it is easy to do it automatically as well. Now, you can also do exit strategies that are separate opposite conditions. Like you could do an exit strategy that is, when this moving average crosses this one, then we're going to exit our short signal. That's possible too. I prefer to do it a little bit more mechanically with numbers of ticks and so forth. And we're not going to cover the other way in this particular video. We'll probably do it another time. But this is an example of a sell signal. Okay. On the buy side, let's see if we can find one. Here's one. So here's the Dow. Okay, here's the Dow with a buy signal right here. Okay, so the market comes down. The prior bar has a low above the MPD. The current bar has a low, an open above the MPD and a low below the MPD. Therefore, we are long. So if we right click and go to studies, we can look down at the trading system based on alert condition. I call this one, as you can see, auto buy. Okay, just because I want to be clear about which was which. And it's looking at this study, ID31, which is our buy signal. We already went over the guts of that one. So all we're looking for here is the condition, which is when ID31.SG1 is greater than 0, buy one. Okay, the only thing I think I need to change here, I think I changed this earlier on the other one, was evaluate on bar close. I would want to set that to no, so that it does it immediately. Okay, and then again, the inputs. Remember, this is a buy order, not a sell. So this is going to be a buy entry. Evaluate on bar close, no. Enabled, yes. All right, maximum position, number of trades, trade during a certain range, Only one trade per bar, yes. Support reversals, allow multiple entries in the same direction, no. And then for my exit strategy, for the targets, 100 tick stop, that's a big stop, but it's $500 stop. Trigger of 30, trail of 30. So once we got 30 ticks, then the stop would go to break even, 30 ticks behind that level, and then trail tick for tick afterwards. And there's a bunch of other stop and target options. I mean, there's so many different ways to exit. I would urge you not to overcomplicate things. It can be quite simple, but it's very simple. I mean, once you get the color bar or color background study where your logic is good, then to fire the trade, you just have to add the trading system based on alert condition study and then make it so that the condition is true and just make sure your parameters are accurate. All right. Now, in terms of making sure you don't make mistakes. Again, the big thing is you got to make sure that you're logged into the simulator if you want this to be practice. Okay, we don't want to see people accidentally firing trades in a live account, but with automated trading, it's sort of inevitable. We just have to make sure that people are logging into the simulator, which obviously we cannot control. So that's something you have to to manage and enforce yourself. Okay, so if you do want to practice, make sure you log into simulated live mode, not live mode. All right. But that is about it. I think, folks, that's probably where I'm going to, sort of wrap things up with this series of webinars, or the presentations. We tried to do a presentation earlier today. There were some issues with GoToWebinar. I decided that it would be best to just take the day and go through the entire thing. And that's what we did. So I really hope everybody got something out of it. I would really like to make special mention to the people who come to these events and give me the feedback. We took a lot of feedback for this event today, and I tried to incorporate as much of it as I could and still stay on target. So I'm hoping we were successful in that endeavor. I really also hope we have demonstrated the lengths we are willing to go to help people understand this product and use it to its potential. There are a couple of other companies out there who have used or offered Sierra. They don't do anything like we do for Sierra. If you're going to use Sierra Chart, there's no better place than Infinity to trade. I firmly believe that. There is so much value in working with us and our expertise and our ongoing commitment to learning this program as it continues to improve month after month and year after year. I really would love to see feedback from people about these videos and things that you'd like to see further. I really intend to build out the YouTube playlist. This YouTube list is right here. Okay, I'm going to put a link to it in the other YouTube description so you'll see it. There's a couple of videos already there that I put up in January. I'm going to continue to build this list out as well. So any topics you'd like to see specifically, feel free to let me know. We will continue to expand that. If, as I said in this little slide here, if you have groups of traders, if you're, you and your online buddies that you're talking to, you're not 100% thrilled with where you're currently at, or you would like to engage with us and you feel like we could actually provide some value and some positive input to your trading, please give us the opportunity to compete. All right, we'd love to have you on board. We could do private sessions in our GoToWebinar room if it's working that day. We can train up to 1,000 people at a time. We do lots of small group training. I've done it numerous times in the past. It's a great way to get all of your people on the same page where the content that we're putting in front of you and the answers are unique to what it is you guys and gals are trying to do. So please take advantage of it. We very much appreciate the opportunity. Again, we very much appreciate your business. Thank you, folks, for who are live clients or people who are considering us for listening to these presentations. I'm sorry for the technical problems with GoTo earlier today, although that was a bit out of our control, but we wanted to make sure this stuff got out there, and I thought I would give it a day. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Everybody have a phenomenal afternoon, and again, please keep the feedback coming. I'll read some risk stuff, and then we'll be done for the day. Okay? All right, folks, thank you. Trading futures, options on futures, and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions involve substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.